the next person coming on, Chrissy Derbyshire.
Hey, hello. Hi, my name is Chrissy Derbyshire, and I'm not happy about it. I'm not very keen on my name. It's one of those things, though, along with my hair and the general state of my house, that is technically within my control, but only with a level of effort that I'm not realistically going to make. So yeah, I was named Christina Claire Derbyshire originally by primary school that had changed to Christina has no sense of occasion. It's the perennial note on my school reports. It's still true. Got no sense of appropriateness, no sense of time, which doesn't bode well for a profession that relies famously on timing. It was primary school where I first took issue with my name. It was also the first time I remember feeling really betrayed by my parents, you know, in the way that you do when you're a privileged white 6-year-old who's never experienced any real trauma, but has seen some on the telly and wants to join in. So, yeah, we had this homework. It was over the weekend, learn how to spell your full name. And something clicked in my head, and the full gravity of what they had done hit me. Christina Claire Derbyshire. 7 syllables of abject nonsense. Christina with an H, apparently, just to be difficult. There's a Donna Dixon in my class. Donna Dixon, boom, done. My parents care about her. Claire with an I. Of course it's with an I, isn't it? Of course it's with an I, just to be difficult again. You know who I sat next to in class yesterday when we had to make a papier-mâché fish? Mark Perry, no middle name. God, I wish I was him. And his sister had Clark's Magic Steps shoes, the bitch. And Derbyshire, my nemesis to this day. To this day, people can't spell it. Adults can't spell my surname. A while ago, I had a delivery man spell my surname Dabsha. Dabsha. I wish it was spelt that way. Of course, I could say it's Derbyshire spelt like the county. But, and I don't know if you've noticed this, I'm already well on the way to sounding very poncy. It's another thing I don't really like about myself. My accent is Croydon with illusions of grandeur. I don't think you endear yourselves to people when you sound a bit posh, and it's not even proper posh. It's kind of low rent posh the way I sound, and the name matches that. I think Chrissy Derbyshire sounds low rent posh. I think a Chrissy Derbyshire would be the kind of person who she gets a meal deal from Marks and Spencer's, but she doesn't do a big shop there. Yeah, she's the kind of person who chambrays the camembert, lets it breathe, but then pairs it with a $3.95 pink wine that's just called wine. She might be the only person in the world who actually bought enough avocados to stop herself getting on the property ladder. And I passed this streak of poshness down to my daughter, Anwen Aurora Bowdry. 7 syllables of abject nonsense. Let her suffer like I did. I love being a parent, though. It's amazing. It's really moving, actually, to have the privilege of seeing this screaming potato gradually blossom into a weirdly dependent flatmate. And one of the things I like most about, yeah, there's a baby, hi. One of the things I like most about having a kid, is that I can share my cultural references with her. Given half a chance, I would love to be able to share my entire frame of reference with her. And I know that I'm not going to be able to do that. I know that she's going to grow up and fondly remember with a tear in her eye the time when people were eating laundry detergent for a dare on TikTok. A reference which is at the same time egregiously modern and already out of date, because I don't know. Look at me. I've never been cool. I've never had my finger on the cultural pulse. If I were culture's doctor, it would be long dead and I wouldn't know about it. I'd still be out there in the background dancing to the Steps version of Tragedy, which I didn't like at the time because I was a snob. But talking of cultural references, a while ago when she was very little, we were invited to a wedding reception, and this wedding reception featured what I would call a regulation wedding disco. You know, the kind where the DJ set hasn't changed since 1993, and that's okay. It's a safe space. You know what you're going to get. You're going to get Oops Upside Your Head. You're going to get Superman, Cha-Cha Slide, Grease Megamix. Yeah, everyone's really, really sophisticated until they hear the Grease Megamix. And yeah, at this disco, I didn't see much of Anne Wen, you know, because at 5 years old, she already had more of a social life than I ever will have. And she'd attached herself to my friend Julia. She followed my friend Julia around all night. And by about 10 o'clock, Julia was starting to flag. You know, she was starting to get tired. She was edging towards the boundary of the dance floor, trying to talk to a grown-up human, as "You Can't Touch This" blared over the sound system. And I was privileged to witness this tiny, tiny child with the most somber, earnest face go after her and say, "Julia, Julia, you have to stop. It's hammer time." The thing about parenting, though, I think that any of you who have children will probably be able to relate to, is that you're in that parenting groove, that parenting mode for so much of your life that on the rare occasions where you're not supposed to be a parent, it's really difficult to just snap out of it. So you'll be walking along the road, you'll be walking along through town, child-free for once, on your own. You'll pass the Frozen ride, lock eyes with a stranger, another adult, and have to really stop yourself from saying, "No, no, you went on last week and you've already had an ice cream." The worst one of these that ever happened to me was, and unfortunately this is almost entirely true, my partner at the time had his friend round. So this is two men in their late 30s, kicking back, playing cards. And let me tell you, it really does change the whole vibe of an evening when you go up to your romantic partner and his friend, who you don't know very well, stand over them and say, "Will mummy get you a drink?" It was then that the words, the old familiar words, started ringing in my ears. The words that I'd heard so many times in primary school. "Christina has no sense of occasion." Thank you.